If you brought a gun, use it then. Like, if you brought a gun for a pussy. That's the words I was saying to him.
Looks like the tension between A$AP Rocky and Chris Brown isn't cooling off anytime soon. Chris just fired off some next-level shade at Rocky, mocking his legal troubles and hinting that prison time might be on the horizon. These two have had bad blood for a while now, but instead of letting things chill, Chris is clearly keeping the drama alive. Rocky's currently on trial for that 2021 shooting involving his former friend, and since the trial's open to the public, everyone's watching closely, and it's not looking great for him. Witness after witness has been stepping up to testify against him, and guess what? Chris seems to be loving every second of it. The man's out here making jokes and stirring up the mess like it's entertainment. So what's really going on here? Why can't Chris let this old beef die down? And is there a real chance Rocky could end up behind bars for a long stretch? Everyone knows Chris and Rihanna have had bad blood since the 2009 incident that still follows him to this day. Rocky, being the loyal partner and protective father that he is, never forgot that. He stood firmly by Rihanna through everything, and that tension with Chris has only grown stronger over time.
Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted into Clive Davis's house and said, "Where the f is this dirty at?" I can't fault him for that. He had this is beautiful, tall, wonderful. Chris Brown, she didn't ruin him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes.
Oh.
And it's unfair. Because now that's a part of his story. And Rihanna ain't innocent. Because she was in there giving that nigga a blowjob in the coat closet when Chris Brown came in. He said, "She always sucking something."
Back in 2022, Rocky even dropped a diss track aimed squarely at Chris called DMB, short for That's My B. In the track, he made a clear jab saying, "I don't beat my B, I need my B." That line alone had the whole internet talking, and it's obvious the shot landed because now Chris seems to be firing back with a vengeance. A few years back, Chris Brown started pushing back on the story that he was just some angry guy who attacked Rihanna out of nowhere. He began hinting that there was more to what went down that night, a totally different side to the story that people never got to hear. In one emotional interview, Rihanna opened up about that night, saying, "I caught him in a lie, and he wouldn't tell the truth. I couldn't take that. He kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it. It escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly. I was battered. I was bleeding in my face." Her words painted a painful picture that stuck with the public for years. At first, Chris didn't fight that narrative too much. He mostly went along with the idea that he lost control after she found out he was cheating.
How long are you guys gonna hold on to Chris Brown and beating Rihanna? You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
Like, how did you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night. And that's because Jay-Z worked so fucking hard to change the narrative of that night.
But as time passed, he started to rebel against that image, dropping clues that the full truth hadn't been told. He wanted the world to know that things were way more complicated than everyone thought. One major turning point came when Chris teamed up with Chloe Bailey for their collab How Does It Feel? The moment their partnership got announced, fans went wild, and not in a good way. Chloe got slammed online by people who couldn't believe she'd worked with Chris, especially given his past. The backlash was intense, and Chris wasn't having it. He went off in a fiery rant online saying, "If you still hate me for a mistake I made as a 17-year-old, please kiss my whole entire ass. I'm 33. I'm so tired of y'all running with this narrative." That outburst made headlines everywhere, but it didn't stop there. New reports later claimed that the real reason he lost it that night was because he allegedly found out Rihanna had been cheating on him and might have passed something to him. According to Chris, that whole just friends story between Jay-Z and Rihanna was nothing but a front.
And then they sat there and Jay-Z and them get on the radio and they talk shit about that little fucking boy. And then they put together that whole fucking sham and then have him arrested on the red fucking carpet just to make sure America fucking hated him for fucking defending himself against that crazy fucking, I mean, she's sexy as shit and she's pure whore and pure pussy and she has all of my respect when it comes to the whore game.
Ooh.
But you ruined fucking Chris Brown's life and you knew you ruined his life and the only reason you did it was because your pimp Jay-Z told you to, so that he could cover up the fact that he started fucking you at 14 when he was damn near 30 years old.
He's claiming the two went to wild extremes to keep any talk of a fling buried, because if that ever hit the public eye, that would have been a straight-up PR disaster. But hold on, because this story gets even messier. Chris says Jay-Z actually pressured him to take the blame for everything, playing the villain, even though, according to him, Rihanna was the one that messed up. He's claiming Jay-Z needed to keep his name out of it at all costs, because if anyone connected the dots back then, those dots would have led straight to him. And considering Jay was already married to Beyonce, that would have been a scandal of legendary proportions. Now yeah, it's easy to think Chris might just be trying to protect his image, after all the backlash he's faced over the years for his behavior towards women. But then, out of nowhere, Jaguar Wright jumped in, backing him up with some jaw-dropping claims of her own. She swore that there was way more going on behind the scenes than people ever knew. Jaguar even dropped a bombshell about Chris allegedly catching Rihanna in some very compromising situations at Clive Davis' party. That detail alone had fans spinning, but she didn't stop there. She went on to accuse Jay-Z and his whole crew of setting Chris up to take the fall. According to her, they planted false stories in the media to steer all the attention away from their own dirt. This entire situation is pure chaos. A$AP Rocky still can't stand Chris for what happened with Rihanna, while Chris feels like he's been unfairly judged and betrayed. It's starting to look like Rihanna definitely has a type, because both A$AP Rocky and Chris Brown have had their fair share of run-ins with the law. But in Rocky's case, things are looking way more serious this time. He's staring down the possibility of up to 24 years in prison for allegedly shooting someone who used to be his friend, and that's no small charge. For anyone who hasn't been following the chaos, Rihanna's partner and the father of her kids, A$AP Rocky,
He pointed at me, and then that's when Elijah was like in between, and he's like, "I'll kill you right now, pussy," or like whatever, like just was. And then I'm right behind Elijah, and I'm saying, "If you brought a gun, use it then." Like, if you brought a gun for a pussy. That's the words I was saying to him.
When you said he pointed at you, where on your body was it pointing?
Like towards my stomach, like towards like my headish a little. Like everything was happening so fast. You know what I mean?
And from what you're describing, was it moving?
Yeah, it was moving. He had it up.
Okay, so he didn't just hold it at your stomach. It was kind of
No. He was looking for a spot to shoot.
Okay.
If Elijah wasn't there, I don't know what would happen.
And you said as he was pointing it at you, what did he say?
I'll kill you right now.
And was that in an angry tone?
He did. He was livid.
is facing assault charges tied to a wild 2021 incident. The story goes that he allegedly pulled a weapon on one of his old crew members, A$AP Rocky, during a heated confrontation. And yeah, that old friend part, that's key, because their bond completely fell apart that night. The whole mess reportedly went down back in November 2021. Nobody knows for sure what sparked the tension, but whatever it was, it boiled over fast. What started as just an argument between Rocky and Relly turned physical in a matter of seconds, and then things took a dark turn. Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun, and multiple shots went off. Luckily, Relly wasn't seriously hurt, but he did get grazed by a bullet and ended up with minor injuries. Still, that was enough to set off a massive legal storm that's been chasing him ever since. Now he's dealing with serious consequences that could change everything for him.
But wait, Relly's legal team says this wasn't some random blow-up. They're claiming the bad blood between him and Rocky had been simmering for a long time before that night. According to Relly's lawyers, Rocky allegedly set up the whole situation, convincing Relly to meet up at a quiet spot under the pretense of squashing their issues peacefully. Instead, it allegedly turned into a full-blown ambush.
The defendant or who his, is it his girlfriend?
His wife.
How
I think it's his common law wife, Your Honor. They have two children together, so
All
I
right.
would,
So I should characterize it as common law wife?
or just wife. It's fine. However you like, but yes, they're
No,
not. I mean, they're common law husband and wife,
I'll
they
call
live
her
together.
whatever you want me to call her. You want wife? Okay.
Your Honor, I think if they're not legally married, we prefer that she not be referred to as his wife and that she is just referred to as his significant other or mother of his children.
Are they legally married anywhere?
I don't know.
What was supposed to be a simple sit-down between A$AP Rocky and A$AP Relly completely blew up, turning into a night of chaos and violence that no one saw coming. According to Relly's lawyers, the meeting wasn't innocent at all. They claimed, unbeknownst to Mr. Efron, A$AP Rocky was not just planning for a conversation and came armed with a semi-automatic. Once they met up, things reportedly went south fast. The lawyers said that after some tense words were exchanged, Rocky suddenly pulled out the gun and intentionally fired multiple shots at Relly without any warning, provocation, or reason. That accusation of premeditation changed everything. What might have looked like a heated argument gone wrong could now be seen as a planned attack, and that's a huge deal in court. Prosecutors are now digging into every piece of evidence they can find, and with alleged video footage said to be out there, it's not looking good for Rocky at all. If they can prove he actually set up the entire confrontation, this could go from bad to catastrophic for him. The situation hit a breaking point in April 2022 when everything finally caught up with him. After months of investigation, authorities arrested Rocky at LAX in connection to the 2021 shooting. The timing couldn't have been worse. Cops swooped in just as he and Rihanna were landed back in the US, turning their trip into a total media circus. The couple had just come back from a peaceful getaway in Barbados, trying to relax before welcoming their first baby, Rizza. Rihanna, 8 months pregnant at the time, was glowing with excitement and ready to step into motherhood. But the second their plane touched down, that peace was shattered. Flashing lights, handcuffs, and headlines everywhere. The moment A$AP Rocky and Rihanna's plane landed, chaos erupted. Police were already waiting on the tarmac, and before anyone could even process what was happening, Rocky was surrounded and arrested right there in front of Rihanna. Imagine being heavily pregnant, exhausted from a flight, and suddenly watching your partner get cuffed by cops. It must have been absolute shock for her. She was vulnerable, blindsided, and caught in a nightmare that went down in front of flashing lights and stunned onlookers. Shortly after the arrest, the LAPD dropped an official statement explaining what went down. They wrote, "The LA Police Department's Robbery Homicide Division detectives have made an arrest in connection with a shooting that occurred in the Hollywood area in November 2021. They continued, on November 6, 2021, around 10:15 p.m., an argument between two acquaintances took place near Selma Avenue and Argyle Avenue in Hollywood. The dispute escalated and the suspect fired a handgun at the victim. The victim suffered a minor injury and later sought medical treatment. After the shooting, the suspect and 2 other men fled the area on foot. According to the statement, detectives worked non-stop to verify every piece of evidence and testimony until they finally confirmed the suspect's identity. The suspect has been identified as 33-year-old Rakeem Mayers, a Los Angeles resident, also known as music artist A$AP Rocky, the LAPD confirmed. They finished by adding, early this morning, LAPD officers arrested Mayers for assault with a deadly weapon, a firearm, at Los Angeles International Airport. This case will be presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. After that shocking arrest at LAX, A$AP Rocky didn't spend much time behind bars, not even close. He posted a massive $550,000 bail and was back home within hours, walking free, at least for the moment. But that quick release didn't mean his troubles were over. In fact, it was just the start of what's becoming a full-blown legal nightmare. By August 2022, the case officially hit the courtroom, and Rocky entered a not guilty plea to the charges. Since then, though, it's been anything but smooth sailing. New developments keep popping up, and each one seems to make the situation even murkier. Unless something drastic happens, it's starting to look like Rocky could be staring down some real prison time in the future. But here's where things take a wild twist, and it all involves ASAP Relly. Word is Relly tried to settle things outside of court, but the way he went about it had everyone talking. Reports say he was totally open to dropping the case, but for the right price. And let's just say that price wasn't small change. It was a major cash grab that had eyebrows raising everywhere. Apparently, Relly wasn't just looking for compensation. He wanted a serious payday. And who did he expect to cover it? None other than Rihanna, Rocky's billionaire girlfriend and the mother of his kids. According to sources, Relly figured Rihanna's massive fortune and her loyalty to Rocky meant she'd just write a fat check to make the drama disappear. Rihanna stood her ground and flat out refused to pay a dime. Her stance couldn't have been clearer. She wasn't about to let anyone manipulate her into bailing Rocky out of his legal mess. According to Media Takeout, Rihanna made it known she wasn't risking her billionaire status just to clean up a situation that wasn't hers to fix. Even if that meant her baby father, ASAP Rocky, might end up behind bars for years, she wasn't backing down. With the private settlement talks dead in the water, the case officially moved forward, and now the trial is in full swing. Things about to get real serious because Rocky's gearing up for a major courtroom showdown, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If he's convicted, he could be facing some very heavy consequences, including a long stretch in prison. Before the trial even kicked off, shocking video evidence started circulating that appeared to show Rocky pulling a gun during the altercation with Relly. And let's just say it didn't look good at all. While there's no clear footage of him actually firing the weapon, the clips tied to the incident are damaging enough to hurt his case big time. The judge ruled that the video could be admitted as evidence, which could heavily influence how the jury sees everything.
To make things worse, ASAP Relly has doubled down on his story. He's testifying that Rocky did shoot him and that it wasn't some heat-of-the-moment slip-up, but a cold, calculated move. His legal team is pushing that narrative hard, painting Rocky as someone who planned the whole thing from the jump. Assault with a firearm isn't something you just walk away from. It's a serious charge that could land ASAP Rocky behind bars for up to 24 years if he's convicted. With evidence stacking up and ASAP Relly's testimony locking in against him, Rocky and his legal team are facing one of the toughest fights of his entire career. But despite all the pressure, Rocky's lawyer is staying calm and confident, insisting that they've got this under control. In a recent statement, his attorney said, "We're ready to go. It's been a long time. Something has been hanging over Rocky's head and over Rihanna and their family's heads for a while. We're anxious to get this thing underway and finally put it behind them." That comment had fans thinking maybe the defense has something big up their sleeve, because they're definitely not backing down. Even though Rihanna isn't directly part of the case, she can't exactly stay out of the spotlight. As Rocky's partner and the mother of his children, her name keeps popping up in court. During one of the recent sessions, the judge even asked how to properly refer to Rihanna and inquired about their marital status. So while she's not officially involved in the case, her connection to Rocky is front and center, and media is eating it up. But then, Rocky made a move that had everyone talking. He straight up turned down a plea deal that most people thought was a no-brainer. According to reports, LA County prosecutors offered him what many are calling a sweet deal. If he pled guilty to one of the 2 felony assault charges, he'd serve 180 days in jail, get a 7-year suspended sentence, and be placed on 3 years of probation. Considering he's facing the possibility of 24 if convicted, that offer looked almost too good to pass up, especially since, with good behavior, he'd likely serve only around 3 months behind bars. But Rocky said no, choosing to take his chances in court instead. Everyone was sure ASAP Rocky would jump at that plea deal. I mean, with so much on the line, who wouldn't? But instead, he shocked everyone by turning it down and choosing to face trial head on. That's a huge gamble, especially with everything stacked against him. It's like he's putting all his chips on the table, hoping the jury will see things his way, even though the odds aren't looking too great right now. To make things even worse, ASAP Relly's testimony in court painted a dark and chilling picture. He claimed Rocky didn't just fire with the intention of scaring or injuring him, but that he actually meant to take his life. That accusation takes the case to an entirely different level and makes Rocky's defense way more complicated. It's honestly wild trying to figure out why Rocky would risk it all like this. He could have taken a short sentence and been back home with his kids within months, but instead he's rolling the dice with the chance of losing decades of his life. If the worst happens, he could miss watching his kids grow up, from their childhoods to their teenage years, even into adulthood. That's a heartbreaking possibility no parent will want to face. Meanwhile,
Word is that Chris Brown is sitting back and watching this unfold with a smirk. According to insiders, Chris finds it ironic because for years, people thought it would be the one who end up behind bars long term, not Rocky. To him, this whole situation feels like karma doing his thing, and he's not shy about letting people know it. But what do you think? Is Rocky taking a brave stand or just digging himself deeper? Do you think he'll walk free or is jail time unavoidable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and hit that next video because this story is far from over.